We begin our series of reflections for Holy Week with a familiar story, this from John chapter 12, the first 11 verses. 6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii, and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." When the great crowd of the Jews learned that he was there, they came not only because of Jesus, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. So the chief priests planned to put Lazarus to death as well, since it was on account of him that many of the Jews were deserting and were believing in Jesus. Well, where do we start? Many of you will know this story very well. You'll perhaps have been told over the years that really the woman pouring the perfume on Jesus' head is about giving everything that you have, giving your best, the most to Jesus. We should give more money, more time, perhaps even more of ourselves. I have here a small bottle of perfume, one of my favourites, Red Roses. It's about £48 for a 30ml bottle. Expensive. 300 denarii was the value of the perfume that was poured upon Jesus on this occasion. The notes in our Bibles tell us that this is nearly a year's wages for a labourer. Today we might think of it in terms of tens of thousands of pounds. What was actually being done? Well, the disciples are indignant. They think of what the money could have been used for if the perfume had been sold. Think of the number of mouths that could have been fed. How many people's lives would be improved? They did not, however, think of what it cost the one who gave it. I'm going to suggest to you that Mary's gift of perfume is the gift of her security, the gift of her future. She wasn't saving this perfume for a special occasion where she needed to smell magnificent in front of a large number of guests. It's likely that she was saving this perfume for her old age, perhaps even the old age of her entire family. That small bottle contained in it life, food, a roof over one's head. It was not for her a waste. It was a profound act of trust. It was something that said, I value you, Jesus, so much that I'm willing to sacrifice my tangible future, my tangible security, for something as yet intangible. There was trust in the family of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. I believe you are the Christ, the one who is to come, are words we hear before Lazarus is raised from the tomb. There is the proof of Lazarus' resurrection, a form of trust, a proof of trust. I could think of no greater. Yet held in reserve was this precious perfume. Is there something in your life you're holding in reserve? Something for later, just in case? Are you willing to pour out your security, your future, on Jesus' head and feet? Are you willing to give everything that you have because he is worthy of it? Not merely to give of your substance. We give and we come home again to safety. The gift of perfume was in itself the gift of the home. Without it, perhaps, there would be no place to which to retire, nothing to eat when one could no longer work. I find myself profoundly challenged by this passage, challenged by the behaviour of Mary, challenged by the words of Jesus. She did it for my burial. Challenged by the response of the disciples and of Judas, who could see only what was before their eyes and not the greater meaning. As we approach our celebration together, once again, of the crucifixion of Jesus, his death on our behalf, in the knowledge of resurrection, but yet experiencing the pain afresh. What is it in your heart that you struggle with in this passage? What is it that you find beautiful from this passage? What is it Jesus is worthy of as your gift this Holy Week?